Thousands of independent vehicle workshop owners face uncertain future after the SA Police Service announced plans to stop all the outsourcing of its vehicle repairs with small workshops. Now, SAPS cited a lack of quality assurance with the RT46 contract that is administered by Westbank on behalf of government. Now, the RT46 is a centrally facilitated contract arranged by National Treasury for the provision of vehicle fleet management services to the state. SAPS will now use dealership for the repair and maintenance of the vehicles. SABC News Economics editor Tshepo Mongoai joins us for more on this one. Now, Tshepo, let's talk about, of course, many government departments still using this particular system. So why is the SAPS withdrawing?
Well, we know that SAPS, they've got the largest number of fleets, and obviously in terms of the service delivery, they need to have those cars ready to deal with crime, which is a major issue in the country. So for quite some time, they've been complaining that it's taking much longer for these guys. Many of them some are in townships, repairing their vehicles. They're taking long to fix, and they were not happy in some instances with the quality of the work done on those vehicles. There are a lot of return jobs that are also being done. So they are affected by this in many ways in terms of service delivery. Of course, with other departments, they don't have as many vehicles. They may be able to perhaps wait for a longer period of time. And we know that also, of course, some of these cars some of them are a bit old. And there's also been a challenge again with the quality of the spare parts that we are seeing in the country. There's been a lot of poor quality spare parts that are available. And I think the other issue is also because government departments have been cutting costs a lot. And some of these workshops, they've been saying that their invoices have not been approved because budgets on some of the vehicles have been exhausted.
So what happens now? I mean, the impact on these small independent players is likely to be huge.
It is. Remember, the majority of the vehicles under this RT46 contract belong to SAPS. So in other words, many of them, 80% of the work, it's SAPS vehicles. So when SAPS withdraw, it's going to have an impact on them. SAPS is saying that this is a temporary measure. They are looking at a long-term solution to deal with this problem. We're not sure exactly what that would mean, but in the meantime, obviously decisions have to be made. These are investments. These are business people who really need to know about their future as to what is going to happen. Many were excited because they can really put food on the table because of this contract, especially since SAPS was part of this contract. And of course, there are issues in terms of in the sector. For example, the poor quality of work sometimes is simply because of lack of training. The original equipment manufacturer, which now is going to be fixing majority of these cars, doesn't work very closely with this. Many of the township workshops or in many other independent workshops, there's no sharing of skills. I mean, we have new vehicles, new models that are coming in. Some of these mechanics were trained some years ago. So you wonder if they would have competence and skills, because this is an ongoing upskilling to train and to understand how different engines are made. And you would find that perhaps there's also some kind of shortfall when it comes to many of these mechanics who are emerging and who are very excited about this opportunity. Perhaps there is a problem that needs to be addressed there. So
let's look at the other departments then. Are they still using this RT46 system, and is it a big issue if they still are?
They are using it. Remember, these are the cars that are out of warranty, majority, well, all of them, because others can still take into OEMs. Well, other departments are not complaining about this. There's no issue with this, but it's only with SAPS. And perhaps maybe it's because they are taking in fewer vehicles, not like as many as South African police. But I think it's something to be looked at as to what is the position of other government departments. Why is it such a big issue with SAPS, just only SAPS?
And I'm asking myself, you know, at a practical level, I mean, you think about this and they talk about some of these vehicles, but at times when you go to some of the police stations themselves, there are cars that are behind the police station that you can see haven't worked in a long period of time. So what is the plan to service these vehicles and to make sure that communities are able to get this adequate service now?
That's right. Apparently how this RT46 contract works, they book a vehicle in, Westbank is an implementing agent, and they will have to get an approval to work on the vehicle after the invoice has been approved by Westbank with the department, with SAPS or the department, and if they are all happy. And the workshop are saying it's taking much longer. The process can take 2-3 months before a job can be done. And by that time, remember, they still have to get quotation for parts. And by the time, the prices have changed many times. In fact, we spoke to one of the workshop owner who complained about the very same problem, that it's just take too long. And by the time they say do the job, prices have changed. We can actually take a listen to what he had to say.
Before we do, what is Westbank saying?
Well, remember, Westbank, they've awarded this 5-year contract. They are an implementing agent. They don't take decisions. And all the issues have to be addressed by either National Treasury, Department of Transport, or the relevant department. In this case is the Department, South African Police Service. And there are people who are questioning this model again as to why did they get Westbank to do this. And remember, they also earn a commission from the very same job. And also, I do not think that they have enough inspectors, because they need to go physically to look at this vehicle once a job is about to be done, as to whether the code or the invoice correspond with what is going to be done on the vehicles. Is the cost correspond with the work that is being done? So there's a lot of logistical nightmare that goes on in that prolong the whole process.
It sounds like a nightmare while I sit next to you. I don't know how it's not a nightmare for the people that are working with the system. But let's listen to one of the industry players that you spoke to, one of the independent owners of a workshop, and hear what they've had to say.
I fail to understand, because every year Westbank, they send the company's tax that they are coming to check that our workshop is in the standard. Every year we must make sure that our lifts are serviced, our tools, we must service them. It's money also, that one. And we are trying that we must comply with everything. The compliance regarding us, it's up to date. Like, even if they can go to Westbank and find out, Amanda Civic, we are qualifying. And also, I appeal also to other workshops in our township that they mustn't destroy them. Yeah, they must try to give them chance. Because this is our, like us, Amanda Civic, it was our first 5-year contract we received from our government. So we appreciated that. So if they are taking that, it means we must reduce the staff, we must close the workshop.
All right, Mandla Kumalo, there. It'll be interesting to also hear, Tshepo, what Westbank, even just they have to say about this on a bigger scale, especially because if you listen to Mandla, they appreciate this business, but at the same time, I'm listening to what you're saying. The model appears to have so many hurdles, and so many systems that would require a little bit more of a speedy resolution. So we'll continue then to monitor this one and reach out to Westbank as well to get a sense from them as to, how do they respond to all of what is going on and issues around this particular contract. So that was SABC News Economics Editor Tshepo Mongoai. Certainly a very important story, and we'll continue to track it for you.